The most important person in this world is my daughter. You are so much more. You are so much more than even you know.
Christina Applegate's life has taken a turn no one could have predicted. She's faced a career halt like few others, her final television role wrapped with no promise of return, her most anticipated film projects quietly canceled. The disease that now ravages her body has stripped her of the ability to work, leaving her to confront the terrifying reality of a life without the stage, the cameras, or the applause. But while headlines have focused on her illness, there's another story hiding in the shadows. One that dates back decades, to the days when Christina was just a child trying to survive in Hollywood. The real scandal isn't her current health struggle. It's the abuse she endured, the predators lurking behind closed doors, and the agonizing choices she was forced to make at an age when most children are discovering cartoons and playgrounds. Her upcoming memoir promises to lift the veil on traumas so shocking, even her most devoted fans may struggle to reconcile them with the bubbly, fearless actress they think they know. Some secrets, it seems, were never meant to stay buried. Christina Applegate was born on November 25, 1971, in the heart of Hollywood, California. Her father, a record producer, and her mother, a singer and actress, had both made their mark in the entertainment industry, but their union was short-lived. They split soon after Christina was born, leaving her mother, Nancy, to navigate life as a single parent in a city where survival often meant sacrifice. From the very beginning, Christina's life was entwined with the entertainment world. By the time she was 3 months old, she appeared alongside her mother on the long-running soap opera Days of Our Lives. Nancy couldn't afford the luxury of a babysitter, so she brought Christina with her to auditions and performances. Sometimes a bottle of M&Ms was enough to coax the infant into taking her place on stage while her mother performed. While most children her age were still grappling with their first words, Christina had already joined the Screen Actors Guild, setting the stage for a childhood defined not by toys, but by scripts, lights, and stage directions. At just 5 months old, she starred in a PlayX baby bottle commercial, a small role, perhaps, but one that helped keep her and her mother afloat. From the earliest moments, Christina's memories weren't filled with playgrounds or bedtime stories. They were framed by film sets waiting for cues and the constant hum of the cameras that would become her lifelong companions. Nancy briefly dated musician Stephen Stills during Christina's early years, a period marked by fleeting joys like the guitar he gave Christina, which she cherished for years. The world Christina grew up in was not just Hollywood, it was survival in Hollywood, a place that demanded early toughness and a precocious understanding of the business. By the age of 9, Christina was ready for her first feature film role, appearing in the obscure horror flick Jaws of Satan. The film, centered on snakes possessed by the devil attacking a town in Alabama, cast her as the daughter of a prominent businessman. Though the film barely reached audiences, it marked a critical step in Christina's transition from baby commercials to serious acting roles. She moved on to television appearances on shows such as Charles in Charge and Silver Spoons, steadily carving out a reputation as a professional and versatile young actress. In 1986, she won a Young Artist Award for her performance in Heart of the City, an acknowledgement of talent that set her apart from many of her peers. While other children spent afternoons at parks or playing games, Christina's days were spent memorizing lines, learning blocking, and navigating the intricate demands of a world that required poise, professionalism, and perfection beyond her years. Yet, behind the veneer of success, Christina's childhood was shadowed by moments of profound pain. When she was just 8, a neighborhood boy called her fat, a single word that would resonate through the years. It was a small comment in isolation, yet its impact was devastating, igniting a lifelong struggle with body image, food, and self-worth. By the time she was 15, Christina had landed the role of Kelly Bundy in the groundbreaking sitcom Married with Children. But even as her career soared, her mother enrolled her in Weight Watchers, imposing pressures that Christina was ill-prepared to manage. She began restricting her food intake to alarming levels, sometimes consuming only a handful of almonds in a day. If she exceeded this self-imposed limit, it triggered overwhelming guilt, tears, and withdrawal. Her mother, Nancy, failed to grasp the gravity of the situation, often commenting casually on her daughter's weight loss with questions like, "How'd you do it?" unaware of the pain lurking beneath Christina's fragile exterior. In 1987, at just 15 years old, Christina became Kelly Bundy, the blonde, sassy daughter of Married with Children. The Fox sitcom, which ran for 11 seasons, was a cultural juggernaut, helping the fledgling network grow into a major player in the television industry. Kelly Bundy became an iconic character, defined by her humor, naivety, and the memorable Kellyisms that turned her lines into instant fan favorites. Yet, while millions laughed at her antics on screen, Christina was secretly grappling with a severe eating disorder, one that persisted for decades. It wasn't until 2024 that she publicly revealed the extent of her struggles on a podcast with Jaime Lynn Sigler, admitting that the relentless pressure to maintain a certain appearance had driven her to stop eating properly. She wanted her bones to be visible, a haunting testament to the invisible suffering behind her sparkling on-screen presence. Even today, mirrors remain a battlefield, and Christina writes notes on them just to keep herself from breaking down. Christina's first substantial film role came when she was 19, in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, 1991. The movie's debut was underwhelming, opening at number 6 in its first weekend with just $4.2 million, ultimately grossing $25.1 million. Initially, Christina had little interest in participating in the project, still focused on her television work and unconvinced of the merit in what she perceived as a commercial film. She later reflected on her behavior during filming with frank self-criticism, describing herself as a freaking ass hat for the challenges she posed on set. Despite the lukewarm reception, the film slowly developed a devoted following. Audiences discovered it on VHS rentals and cable reruns, transforming it into a cult classic and demonstrating Christina's ability to connect with viewers even when critics overlooked her talent. By 1998, with Married with Children concluded, Christina faced a pivotal crossroads. No longer confined to the role of Kelly Bundy, she was 26 and determined to prove herself as a versatile actress capable of tackling more than the blonde archetype that had defined her adolescence. That year, she carefully selected 2 very different films, seeking to demonstrate range and depth. One of these was The Big Hit, an action-packed comedy in which she starred opposite Mark Wahlberg, marking a bold departure from the television persona audiences had grown to adore. The pressures of reinvention were compounded by the lingering shadows of her early life. Christina's childhood in Hollywood, marked by constant work and adult responsibilities, had left deep emotional scars. While fame offered financial security and acclaim, it also magnified insecurities and left little room for personal growth outside of the industry. Over the years, she faced not just the scrutiny of critics and fans, but also a deeply personal battle with her body image and the aftermath of emotional trauma. In interviews, she has described moments of desperation, where the cameras and applause masked a profound sense of emptiness. The audience laughed, admired, and loved the public Christina, while the private Christina endured invisible wounds that shaped every decision she made. Christina's journey through Hollywood illustrates both the glamour and the hidden dangers of early fame. The industry often glorifies precocious talent, but can exploit it just as easily, particularly when a child's identity and self-worth become intertwined with public perception. For Christina, joining the Screen Actors Guild before kindergarten wasn't just an achievement, it was an early immersion into a world that demanded perfection, poise, and constant adaptability. Her mother, though loving, relied on Christina's work for financial survival, blurring the lines between childhood and professional obligation. This dynamic, while ensuring Christina's career would flourish, also planted the seeds of long-term emotional struggle, particularly regarding self-esteem, autonomy, and agency. Her breakout role as Kelly Bundy, while legendary in the annals of television, also exemplified the duality of public success and private suffering. On screen, she was a confident, witty, and memorable character. Off-screen, she was a young woman battling the complex realities of growing up under intense scrutiny. The pressures to conform to industry standards of beauty, Her film career, initially met with mixed reviews and box office disappointment, underscores a recurring theme in Christina's life: resilience in the face of adversity. Don't Tell Mom, The Babysitter's Dead, though modest in its theatrical performance, eventually found its audience, illustrating that talent and connection with viewers can outlast initial setbacks. Similarly, her transition to adult roles required not only skill, but a deliberate strategy to overcome typecasting and expand her repertoire. Choosing projects like The Big Hit demonstrated both ambition and a willingness to take creative risks, signaling her determination to be recognized as a multidimensional actress rather than a caricature of her teenage persona. Beyond the professional landscape, Christina's story is deeply human. The traumas of her childhood, compounded by the pressures of Hollywood, have left lasting imprints on her emotional health. From the moment she was labeled fat at age 8, through decades of private struggle with food and self-worth, Christina's journey is emblematic of the complexities faced by those who grow up in the glare of fame. Her candid reflections in recent interviews and her forthcoming memoir provide an unflinching look at the intersection of public life and private pain, offering fans an opportunity to understand the depth behind the smile they have admired for decades. As Christina confronts the challenges of her current health crisis, she is not just facing a disease but grappling with the cumulative effects of a lifetime in Hollywood. The industry that offered opportunity and acclaim also demanded sacrifices that left scars, both visible and invisible. Her memoir promises to shed light on experiences long kept private, from childhood exploitation and bullying to the silent endurance of an eating disorder that accompanied her rise to fame. In revealing these truths, Christina not only reclaims her narrative, but also provides a rare and necessary glimpse into the human cost of early stardom. Through triumphs and trials, Christina Applegate remains a figure of resilience, humor, and vulnerability. Her journey from infant actress to iconic television star, through private struggles and public successes, paints a portrait of a woman who has endured more than most could imagine, yet continues to face life with honesty and courage. The layers of her story, the laughter, the pain, the triumphs, and the heartbreak, offer an intimate exploration of fame, survival, and the enduring strength of a person who refused to let circumstances define her. Christina's evolution from a Hollywood infant, navigating the sets of Days of Our Lives to a television legend and respected actress, is more than a career arc. It is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Every role she took, every line delivered, and every moment on screen was both a professional achievement and a personal challenge. Behind the glittering surface of fame was a young girl learning to navigate trauma, expectations, and the complex pressures of a world that often demanded perfection before she was ready to understand it. Her forthcoming memoir will not only illuminate these struggles, but will also provide a roadmap of survival, demonstrating how talent, determination, and inner strength can carry someone through even the darkest chapters of life. Even now, as she faces the limitations imposed by illness, Christina Applegate's influence and legacy remain undeniable. From her early commercials and obscure films to her breakout role on Married with Children and her daring choices in adult film roles, she has continuously challenged herself, pushed boundaries, and refused to be confined by the expectations of others. Her story is one of courage to embrace her past, confront her struggles publicly, and share the lessons she has learned with the world. In doing so, she offers not just a biography, but a lesson in resilience, hope, and the enduring power of authenticity. Christina Applegate's life, filled with early exposure to fame, hidden struggles, and later reinvention, stands as a compelling narrative of survival, talent, and resilience. From the stage lights of her infancy to the iconic roles that defined a generation, and finally to the personal battles she now faces, her journey underscores the complexity of a life lived in public while managing deeply private challenges. Her story reminds us that behind every laugh, every on-screen persona, and every public triumph, there can be hidden struggles, unseen resilience, and a determination to reclaim one's narrative, no matter the obstacles. Through all of this, Christina continues to inspire, not just as an actress, but as a woman who has endured, survived, and continues to tell her story on her own terms. Her past, present, and future are intertwined in a narrative that is both heartbreaking and empowering, demonstrating that true courage is often found in the quiet, unobserved moments, and that the legacy of a person is shaped as much by their struggles as by their successes. Her forthcoming memoir promises to reveal these truths, ensuring that Christina Applegate's story is remembered not just for her roles, but for her humanity, her resilience, and the unwavering strength with which she has faced life's most difficult challenges. Even as Christina rose to fame, the pressures of maintaining a public image weighed heavily on her. Hollywood, with its relentless gaze, had a way of magnifying every insecurity, turning minor flaws into magnified anxieties. For Christina, the duality of being adored by millions on screen while silently battling deep-seated self-doubt created an inner conflict few could understand. Fans saw the confident, witty Kelly Bundy, but what they didn't see was a teenage girl counting calories obsessively, navigating the fear of judgment, and learning early that her worth was often measured in appearances. This dichotomy between public persona and private struggle is a story shared by many child stars, but in Christina's case, it was intensified by the sheer speed of her rise and the longevity of her career. From commercials to iconic television, every stage demanded perfection while offering little room for a real childhood. The challenges extended beyond body image. In interviews, Christina has hinted at moments of isolation where the pressures of Hollywood left her feeling like an outsider in her own life. Friendships were fleeting, often complicated by the industry's competitive nature, and the small comforts most teens take for granted were replaced with scripts, auditions, and the constant fear of failure. Her mother, while supportive, had her own battles, and the financial dependence on Christina's work created a complex dynamic where love, ambition, and survival were tightly intertwined. Every success brought new opportunities, but also new expectations, reinforcing the idea that mistakes could cost not just professional momentum, but emotional stability. The transition from child star to adult actress was never seamless. While Kelly Bundy became a household name, she was a role that risked typecasting Christina for life. Breaking free from it required calculated risks, choosing roles that were starkly different from the blonde, comedic stereotype audiences had come to love. Films like The Big Hit showcased her willingness to embrace action, intensity, and a different form of comedy, proving that she was capable of more than the easy laughs of her early career. Yet, behind these choices was a persistent drive to be taken seriously in an industry that often typecasts women, especially those who achieve fame at a young age. Each role was not just an artistic decision, but a strategic maneuver in a lifelong battle for creative respect. Even as Christina's career evolved, her personal battles persisted quietly. Mirrors remained a source of tension, moments of reflection punctuated by reminders of past struggles. She had learned to navigate these emotions with resilience, but the scars, both visible and invisible, never fully disappeared. Opening up publicly in 2024 was an act of courage, revealing the long-hidden eating disorder and offering insight into the extreme pressures faced by performers in Hollywood. Her words resonated with many, particularly those who had experienced similar struggles in silence, highlighting the universality of the pain beneath the glamour. Christina's upcoming memoir promises to explore even deeper truths. Beyond the well-documented career